Oh, it wouldn't be until next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about. So we get over it.
Yes, fingers crossed. I have 7.
All right, folks, we'll go ahead and get started with our special meeting for the evening. We will go ahead and come to order at 7 p.m. We can start with a moment of silence. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams, Reed, Jensen, Lawler. Here. Davis. Present. French. And Mayor Snyder.
Here. So we are gathered today to discuss the CDBG grant, but when we start off, can I get a motion to approve of the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right, well, so we'll start off by opening our public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at 7:01 p.m. So if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to this grant, you have the opportunity to do so at this time. Right, well, I will close the public hearing at 7:02 p.m. Public comments. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to address council in regards to an agenda item, you may do so at this time.
So that's a sons. I'm Jim Stewart, 5 Westwood, Albion, and the way I understand it, what we're looking at today is approval of the funds for the Silver Plaza project. I'm going to let you know that the DDA has been working as a committee, and then there's a smaller subcommittee. And the way we have it worked right now, the way we're looking at this is there's CDBG grant. We'll have the first of 2 phases, and we have a nice, what we think is a very nice plan for Silver Plaza. The first part of this plan would be the major fixtures in the plan, and it would be a lot of demo work, putting together, putting up, improving the barrier walls between the upper level and the lower level, and erecting more of a structure for the new Silver Plaza for building, which there are a lot of features for them. Present all those, but it's a pretty put together plan, I think, overall. And then the second phase, which is not going to be covered in the CDBG grant, but will be a follow-on phase, will be more on the beautification side. So as you look out on the river, and as you, like if you stand at a Silver Plaza now and you look left and you look right, a lot of that will become green space, and And they'll be talking about it all day. I don't know if it's exact version of it, so. The way I think of it is this way, with the river going along. And this drive will remain because we need access to businesses. But the other drives will actually turn into big trailways. And the final renderings of how we go about doing that. There's a lot of details that we still get to decide, and we would like to put in front of our citizens and get feedback on. But the big pieces of the plan and then the general size of the plan, which the CDBG grant will be funding, we're good to go on that as far as we know what the size is. And yes, there are few decisions still to be made. And not probably more than a few, there's a number of decisions still to be made, but the concept and the sizing is right. And I don't know, that's probably all I'm supposed to do, right?
You're good. Thank you, Tim. All right. Consent calendar. So in our packets, we had the minutes to our April 17th study session and our April 17th regular session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So then we have, do I have a motion to support the resolution 2023-08 to authorize the CDBG grant for Stauffer Plaza?
Is there going to be another presentation or do we vote to authorize it now?
We need a motion and then, yeah, we'll give an overview of the project and then.
Okay. I move that we approve the resolution 2023-08 to authorize community development grant CDBG public gathering space application for Stauffer Plaza.
All right, City Manager Snyder.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So included in the packet, and then at your desk is a rendering of what we are proposing for through this grant application. So in partnership with the Downtown Development Authority or the DDA, we are looking to apply for the MEDC CDBG Public Gathering Spaces Grant Program to revitalize Stauffer Plaza. As Mr. Stewart stated, there's a small subcommittee on the DDA that has been working with Whiteman and Associates to develop a master site plan to revitalize that space. This is a project that has been identified in their development plan that they would like to see revitalized to increase more, to further make our downtown a destination. So we are looking to apply for $1,890,000 in grant funding. It does require a 10% local match for total project costs. So for the first phase, we're looking at $2.1 million. So it will require a local match of $210,000. Last week, the DDA held a special meeting and they have allocated $70,000 to go towards that local match requirement, which means the city would be responsible for that remaining $140,000. In the resolution, I'm making the recommendation that we allocate $140,000 of our American Rescue Plan Act or ARPA dollars to secure that, to meet that match requirement to complete this grant application. This is an eligible use for those funds, so it would seem reasonable to go that route. The first phase includes the demolition of the current structure, as well as improvements to the retaining wall that kind of splits the lower level and upper level. It would also include a new large farmers market, which will have restrooms. Right now, we do not have restrooms in that space. It will also close as you can see, some of the roadway access to provide more green space to really make it a gathering space. There still will be that entranceway so that vendors for our farmers market, they can get down to the plaza to unload their goods, and then there's still access to the upper level parking space. But we're really trying to move away from some of the roadway down there to really, like I said, make it a public gathering space. Further improvements, we're looking in the second phase to have a small playground where children can come and play while their families visit the farmers market or other community events that take place in this plaza area, as well as a small band shell. Not Blues at the Bone, but Walk the Beat. They collaborate with the farmers market and they provide music. So they will have a space for bands and musicians and artists to come out and perform and provide entertainment to the community. It will also provide additional lawn seating and then more landscaping to really build up that plaza area. This is after attending the webinar and listening to the specifics on the grant program. This is an ideal project because it's really about enhancing or creating public gathering spaces in our community. So with that, the biggest thing is just making the recommendation to allocate that $140,000 in ARPA funds to go towards that local match. We've been working with Whiteman and Associates to finalize our grant application, which it is due this Friday at 5 p.m. Ben Baker with Whiteman, he is here, so I'm happy to answer any questions, or Ben, if you want to add any information, please feel free.
Ben Baker, so we've been working with the city and the DDA on the plan, and we think it is really a great way to improve what has been a great, downtown enhancement, but maybe looks a little tired in a few areas, and so really improve the farmers market, increase the space available there. The DDA has indicated that having more space for vendors, having the future ability to enclose the market, not in this third phase, but maybe in the future phases for more preseason elements. And again, some of the improvements that we're really doing there for the band shell, and the river, and really, kind of in that second phase, creating more of a pocket park there and doing the river. Really, I know that you've got some great parks just south of the area, but here in the downtown, creating that great connection to the river there as well. And this one side, the parking side there was just done. We're removing a very small amount of parking there and some duplicate roadways, but really enhancing the rest of the parking that's there downtown and really services those businesses on a higher level there. Things to be done quite a bit better as well. So.
And when talking, when we've been planning and working with Whiteman's, the Albion River Trail actually runs through Stouffer Plaza. And I think by moving away, getting rid of some of the roadway and really making more green space, we can really highlight that river trail that runs through that area. As Mr. Stewart stated, we still, once the site plan has been finalized and approved by the DDA, we will do public engagement so the public can weigh in on like the actual design. So right now we kind of have an idea of what we would like for it to look like, but in terms of color, like specific design specifics, the community will have an opportunity to weigh in to really help us finalize this project.
And the other thing I forgot to mention was kind of the plaza itself. It's kind of showing barren right now, but we are planning some plantings in there perhaps and other things. Really making that a multi-function space. It's going to be planning a 6-inch concrete pad, so it can be used for in conjunction of not only having the farmers park their trucks on there and maybe load in and out, but other events, food trucks or things for the park on that as well. You can program it all 4 seasons. We had a wintertime ice festival or something like that. You can pull out the portable fire pits. I know some other communities do that and blast those there and really kind of utilize that plaza as a multifunctional space as well. And kind of increases the size of what's there now.
And in this design, we've kind of really made it ADA accessible. If you can see from the upper level to the lower level where the pavilion will be, there will be a new ramp access to the plaza. So for wheelchairs, strollers, wagons, people walking up and down, it really makes it more accessible to all residents.
One thing about that wall I forgot to mention as well, is we're planning to terrace the wall, and so they're right now it's a 5.5-6 foot wall. It'll probably be in 2 or 3 rises there with some either space for landscaping in between or possibly seating or lawn things. Still kind of working out the design on that, but it will soften that edge from being such a steep thing to kind of a little bit more terraced and provide some opportunities there as well.
And those final details, that's when when we engage with the public, they'll have the opportunity to weigh in for what they would like to see in that space. So still plenty of opportunity for our community to weigh in and really help us revitalize the space. We feel we're at a good place by having just a plan for that space to apply for this grant program.
Councilwoman Reed.
Public report says the building band show, is that out in Hickory Park?
No, so that is still within Stauffer Plaza. So down by the actual river where the fencing is, that's where that will be located.
So it's next to, is it the leash hour that's there?
Yep,
So instead of where it is right now, Councilwoman Reed, on the big green space here.
Okay.
It's gonna-
I'm talking about over here.
Yep, so you know the leisure hours, that building,
Yeah.
so it's actually gonna be closer to the leisure hour.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good, because I was just wondering if this was a river running by with the play area.
No.
no, that's like sidewalk area.
Mhm. Councilwoman Lawler.
Thank you so much. I know that the leisure hour had some parking. Is their parking eliminated or did that belong to city or it
So,
belonged to the
yep,
city?
so that is city owned parking.
Okay, okay.
Yep, it was included in the downtown parking study where that is, all of that parking space behind there is city owned.
So they don't have no parking space.
There would not be any with this proposed design. We've kind of moved away from all the parking down there. The parking study that we just had completed, it shows we have enough parking to support not only the downtown businesses, but then the businesses behind in that area. They will have access to the large parking on the upper level, but really moving away and removing some of those roadways will kind of and filling them with green space will really make it a true gathering space for the public.
Did we talk to them about it?
We have not. This was their opportunity to kind of weigh in. This has
Oh,
been
gotcha.
before the DDA for several meetings now. The public
Gotcha.
notice was published.
Okay, thank you so much.
ADA though coming from here down.
Correct. Yep.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Davis.
One thing that I noticed right now, there are 3 entrants, to get to that area. You're going to close off the other 2 entrants and just have the Erie Street entrance. That's just one entrance for a lot of different traffic that will be using that space.
So the entrance off of East Erie down to the plaza, so that's there for vendors, for the farmer's market, or any other events. And then we still do have the entrance behind all of the buildings, the market, I don't know if you want to call it the
Bay.
marketplace. Yep.
Yeah, okay,
so you
so
could-
those will not be closed
No,
off.
that
Oh, okay.
that will still be a pass through.
Okay,
So, yeah, kind of north of this, that alley marketplace is still accessible from here, so the road.
Gas Street.
Gas Street.
Gas Street,
Down south as well, it's just kind of the eastern branch of that follows the river would be. closed.
okay,
Turn it
Mhm.
pedestrian.
Okay.
Walkway.
all righty.
So for now, it's just gonna be an open market, not a closed. I heard you say that later it might be.
That's kind of the some direction they're looking at, yeah, right now. It's,
Yep.
open on sides, and again, kind of ADA, all ways can go into it. The idea is that it could be possibly retrofitted with the roll of garage doors or things like that, in close for older ones in the future, but not in this case.
Yeah, I know time we've had things down there that it's raining
Yep.
and the rain blows in, so it's just something to keep the rain from blowing in. Yeah.
Yep, so the new pavilion, will have more coverage so that to provide for our vendors, and then as been stated, yes, we're looking at having doors on the side, kind of like garage doors, so that we can close them, have events there in the fall and winter time, and then in spring and summer, they would be lifted up to kind of have a pass through. And I think the biggest thing is the restrooms. I know we've heard feedback from residents that we would like to have restrooms down in the area. Right now, for the farmer's market, I know Festival of the Forks and other events, we use porta potties, so we will actually have public restrooms down in that area.
Yeah. What about lighting and heat? I mean, will you have some kind of, because with the rain, sometimes it's very cold.
Yeah, so there will be lighting in terms of heating.
There are no, did you
We
include?
mentioned that briefly in the application. I think our funds have some funds for that. Again, that's more of a detail, but we did mention, some of the idea that some of the radiant heaters above in the pavilion, they're going to extend some of that seasonality of it as well.
As well as microphone capability or amplification capability.
Good question.
Because I was down there not long ago, and there were programs, in that area, the Boy Scouts or something, and they had their festivities there, and there were speakers. And I guess the speakers can bring their microphones, but I just wondered if that would be. Just an idea.
Any other questions? Great, thanks, Ben. Appreciate the info. All right, well, if there's no other questions, City Manager Snyder, can you take roll call first, please? What's it? Oh, did I say, yeah? City Clerk Domingo? Yep.
Councilmember Reed. Yes. Lawler.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
And Mayor Smith.
Yes. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit off. City Manager's report, the other report for tonight?
I don't. One update. I did send an email out to council early this morning. So we have had 3 weeks of the yard waste pickup through Granger. And I received a long list of residents who have had contaminated items placed into their yard bins. So moving forward, there is a list of acceptable items and then unacceptable items. So acceptable items include grass clippings, tree limbs, brush. And I think that's really the main items. You cannot put animal waste, soil, plastic, rocks and things like that. If Granger finds, they are checking, they've added a crew member when they come into town on Wednesday to check through the yard waste. If they find any of the unacceptable items, your bin will be tagged with an orange sticker and your address will not be serviced. So they will not dump your container until the items are removed. So just to make sure that we're being good stewards and having a good relationship with Granger, please be mindful of what goes into our yard waste. I know sometimes when you move it to the curb, there could be people walking down the street and they think it's a trash can and they may put trash in it. Unfortunately, they still will not collect your bin if it does have trash. So just putting that out there, we did post a notice on the city's website as well as their Facebook page listing out what are acceptable items and what cannot go in them. So I'm just asking council if you can pass along to your constituents, remind them what is allowed so that we can make sure that we're doing our part in having a good working relationship with Granger. We've had to do this because when they take it to the dump and they have some of these items in, it runs the risk of them losing their permit and not being able to take our waste to the dump. So just putting that out there to remind our residents what can go in yard waste. That's all I have.
Councilmember comments.
I talked with Krista again this afternoon, and if we can get a date together, the first Saturday and the second Saturday of May is not good for them. But we need to get another date together to make a tour of the city. And Krista's gonna come over and show us the land banks, properties and things, so we'll know what they are.
Yep.
City manager knows more about it.
So I can send out an email to everybody and just reply back with which Saturday works best for you. And then we will finalize that with the land bank and get that scheduled.
And we have a meeting on Thursday. The land bank does, so it'd be good to know by then, so. I'm gonna get some planning done in with them.
Like this Thursday? day after tomorrow? This Thursday?
This Thursday.
Any other comments? Do I have a motion to excuse councilpersons Jackson, French, and Williams?
Yes.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:24 PM. Thank you for being here, Lars. Bye, Lars.
No problem. Great seeing you guys.
Bye.